Welcome to the Running Channel. I'm Andy and today's video might be a little bit different to what you're used to. Now, when we first had the idea for the Running Channel, we never even dreamed that we'd have such an amazing community of viewers from all over the world. We set out to create an online home where all runners are welcome. And whilst we're a small team, we feel a huge responsibility to make sure that who we are on and off camera and what we make videos about better represents the amazing and diverse global running community that we love. That means a commitment from us to use our platform to showcase the experiences of runners from different backgrounds and to hear their stories. So please stick with us because really shortly we're going to be hearing from the guys from London's Emancipated Run Crew.
If you can't see it, you can't be it. And so being visible is really important for us, and so that's what we're trying to do.
Ultimately, you, our amazing viewers, will be the judges of our success and we'll do everything in our power not to let you down. Now, there'll be people who feel like this is bringing politics into running, but my answer to that is that the beauty of running is its inclusivity and accessibility. But I take those two things for granted. I see lots of people like me at mass participation running events or in running clubs, so I feel included and I have access. But that's not the same for everybody, and that's why this isn't just a political issue. I've been lucky enough to grow up on track and field teams, amazing, diverse teams of people who I wouldn't have met if it wasn't for running. And we all experience running in totally different ways, which is why we feel it's important to showcase those different experiences and to hear voices and stories that you might not have heard before. With Black Lives Matter front and centre on the global news agenda, and as allies to support the fight against racism, today on the Running Channel we're going to hear from the guys at London's Emancipated Run Crew.
Emancipated Run Crew is a running space which we've created to be a safe space for people of colour, black people specifically. I co-founded it along with my sister Denise and my friend Trojan, my running brother.
It's been like a family, and that's what it's about really. Like, as people of colour, community, family is crucial. This individualistic stuff that we do is not innate to us really, and I think it's just important to reflect that in the crew, and that's what we do.
So what we want to do is encourage other black people to run and to feel safe and feel comfortable and to be encouraged to create a safe space for us to run in, and also to bring other people into the sport who probably wouldn't have joined otherwise.
I'd often go running after work and see a number of running groups running around London, and I could count on one hand the amount of people of colour that I would see in those groups.
I think I'm mindful of how I'm perceived when I'm running, which I don't think I necessarily consciously realised until the Aubrey situation, how much I do it, you know. So I constantly signal that I'm safe, that I'm not a danger. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I'm more mindful of it even now that I actually do it. I smile at people. Whatever I need to do to say, you know, you don't need to worry about me.
Since I've taken running a little bit more seriously, and I might move up towards Hyde Park, or running around Knightsbridge, or running around Kensington, running around Buckingham Palace, or even going into the city, you tend to see people watching you a little bit more. But if I focus on them, I won't run, you know. So for me personally, that's what I was saying before, when I'm at peace when I'm running, you know, I focus on me. I don't care who's watching me, how you're watching me. I don't care if you're judging me. You know what? I'm doing what's good for me, what's good for my spirit, what's good for me to encourage other people, you know, for them to actually get out and start running as well.
I am not the best runner in the world, so like I'm not the type of person who's like running and I'm loving every minute. I'm running and I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to like keep on going. But in that, I can't think about anything else. So if I've got a stressful day at work, that's gone because I'm literally trying to take breath. And so it's that freedom to just rid your mind of all of those other things that you might be worried about. And for those 10, 20, 30 minutes, however long you're running, it is just you, it's the road, it's your breath, it's a podcast or some music. I might be dancing sometimes, I might be, you know, listening to something quite serious. But in that time, it's just me, it's my feet, it's how far I can get, it's my breath. And, you know, that feeling of freedom and that time to yourself is actually invaluable.
Quite simply, I love running. That's not to say I love running every day. Like, sometimes I get out there and I don't want to do a run. But it's something that has stayed with me for the past 20 years and kind of shaped who I am in a sense. When I started running, in fact, I couldn't run for more than a minute. And I challenged myself to, step up and do a 5K, which I did, step up and do a 10K, which I did, step up and do a half marathon, which I did, to a marathon. And I think that running is one of those sports, I suppose, I call it a sport, that you can just lace up and go.
Running is, I can't rate it enough. I love running. I love what it can do for you, and the sense of achievement of, from when I was running and from the beginning when I could only run for a minute and was praying for it to stop so I can walk, to now, 5Ks, 10Ks, 10 miles, and just letting myself go.
I decided to make a big, massive statement. Whenever I've seen races, whether it be the marathon or short distances, what's happening, I decided to wear my parents' flag where they're from, which is Grenada. So I had a Grenadian bandana, I had a Grenadian flag. I just wanted to make a statement, and through running, people that recognise the flag will shout "Grenada," which made me feel quite at home. But at the same time, to be acknowledged on the road, to be different rather than just running in my normal running gear and looking like a normal runner. I just wanted to do something completely different, and that's what I did. So I wore my parents' national colours. I stood out really well. When I look back at the photos, again, the photos stood out really well, which was quite nice.
Growing up, I didn't really see running much around me. For me, when I grew up on a council estate, and all of us kids would do like races, like sprint races, because you'd see the Olympics. And that's where we would see black people running in the 100 metre or 200 metre. So I grew up in the 80s, so it was Carl Lewis and people like that. Linford Christie and Merle Notty from Jamaica, those were our role models, but it was never about long distance running. So I'd do the whole kind of running at school, doing the sprints and trying to beat the boys in class, but doing running as a kind of leisure activity, that was not really part of my reality, that wasn't part of my world. My parents didn't run, none of my family ran, so it wasn't something that I thought was something that I would do or something that people who looked like me did, so it wasn't part of my growing up at all.
I look at Instagram or the press, you see a certain type of, this is what a runner looks like. It doesn't look like me, and I can imagine my previous self years ago would have looked at that and thought, nah, and I can imagine a lot of other people would feel that way. If we have more participation, more visibility, that would encourage other people. You can only do what you see, and I do believe that my participation and being there does make a difference, but you need to, obviously I can't do it by myself, I need to bring other people along with me.
Unless you live it, you don't really get it. That question of having a safe space, that issue of why do you have to have a black running crew, why do you have to have a Muslim running crew, why do you have to have an Asian running crew, it's probably innate to people who are not of colour, because to them they've got safe spaces wherever they go, like they don't feel excluded from any space at all. No one's going to ask them a question about anything. They're not going to ask them a question about their hair, and they're not going to ask them a question about why they do what they do, why they eat what they eat. Those questions just, they don't feature. So they have these safe spaces which are automatically assumed. But for people of colour, we don't have those safe spaces unless we create them ourselves, which is why we create the black running clubs and stuff like that, because it means that we have these spaces where we can just be ourselves, we can feel included, we don't come with an assumption of doubt. Will they accept me? Will they, ask me any questions? Will they challenge me in anything I say or do? You don't necessarily get that. You can just be you, and that's important.
A massive thank you to the guys for sharing their experiences with us. Some hugely powerful stories in there, which shows the importance of hearing different voices in running. We'd always encourage you to get in touch with us in the comments or on our social channels. And we know that there are other amazing communities that are also underrepresented in media and in running. So do get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you and maybe share your stories too. And finally, from me, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Running Channel.